Hello friends, welcome back. This is English video 7, the English version of the Hindi video 7. In this video we will start with chapter 2, how globes and maps help us, of the 6th class NCERT, old NCERT Lands and Peoples Geography textbook for class 6th. You should buy NCERTs from 6th to 12th. The NCERTs from 6th to 10th help us in making the base. 11th and 12th are in detail and brush up our concepts, refine our knowledge. Finally, we need to read some reference books also, for example, G.C. Leong for geography and so on for various subjects. You should buy the books something like this: geography, history, economics, and polity can be done from Lakshmikant. If you want to take a look, you can take a look at NCERT, but there is no need to buy these NCERTs. Economics starts from 9th class, I think. There is no 6th to 8th. So geography, history you need to buy from 6th to 12th. Polity you may or you may not. Economics starts from 9th. All this try to buy from one shop. For example, in 2014 I bought all my NCERTs from one shop. That one shop was in Delhi. I was living in Patel Nagar and I went to, I think, Chandni Chowk. Then there was a shop there, so I bought it from there. I bought it from 1200, all these NCERTs. He gave me this and this too. Today you may buy it from in 2000 or let's say 3000 rupees maximum. So try to buy all the NCERTs from one place. It saves you a lot of time. The print may be such that there could be one page on one, there are two pages printed here or one page. So if you can buy the one in which one page is printed on one page, you may find it expensive, but visibility will be higher. So it's up to you. Let's start with geography. This is the football I have at my home. This will act as our earth. Now, how globes and maps help us? It says what globe is a model of the earth. The earth is spherical. If you want to show it in 2 dimensions, let's say on this whiteboard, it's shown something like this. This is the standard map that is printed. North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia and Antarctica. Then there is Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean. We will discuss it in detail. Here is Pacific Ocean. Here is also Pacific Ocean. This map joins at the other side. So on the map on the earth, the globe, if this is the equator, here is North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, Antarctica. They join at the end. So North America and South America and Asia and Australia are closer at the other side. And there is Pacific Ocean in between them. We will see this in detail later. Let's start with NCERT chapter. It says, what is a globe? A model of the earth. For example, this earth could serve as a model of the earth. If I start drawing on it, here is North America, South America, etc. What is a map? This is a map. A map is a representation of earth's surface or a part of it. I can also draw a map just of India. So that's also a map. So a map is a representation of the earth or a part of it in 2-dimensional using a scale. What is this scale? The scale may be something like 1 centimeter is equal to 100 kilometer. So on this scale, this distance denotes 100 kilometer. So does this distance. If it is 1 centimeter, it is 100 kilometer. This is scale. We will discuss in detail how scales can be used, how they can be measured and how they can be useful to us in measuring distances in general, getting a rough idea. What else does this chapter say? Then it talks about the 4 directions, the cardinal directions. These 4 are the cardinal directions: north, east, west, south. Sometimes you may simply find it written north. N in a map. On the side of a map you can find only this. So this means here is east, west, south, only north is shown. For example, if I draw the map of the earth of the India like this, then how will I show? I'll say north is here. I have simply tilted the north, so north will become here. So obviously east will come here, west will come here, south will come here. These are 4 cardinal directions. These are the most important directions. All other directions flow from them. For example, this direction is northeast. N comes first. This is north, northeast, west, south. Northeast, west, south. This is northwest. This is southwest. This is southeast. So always north and south gain priority. This is not west north, this is northwest, this is northeast. Similarly, this is southeast, this is southwest. So north and south come first. This is simply the convention and it has been followed. It will be better, it will be best if we keep following the conventions for ease of understanding. If you start calling it west north, someone else will think, what are you talking about? I don't understand. These 2 maps are drawn the most in general studies papers 1 to 4, especially in 1, 2, 3, history, geography, polity and international relations, constitution and economics, disaster management, science and tech, internal security. In GS4 ethics there is limited scope, but sometimes they can be drawn. This map and India map. Some students draw it like this. This is not a very good drawing. In general studies you have less time, but still you can draw a little better. For example, I draw it like this. This map is much better. So please practice these maps and these maps. They will be drawn again and again. Australia is actually very small. North America is relatively big. So if I draw it on paper, I generally draw it better in the first instance. I am simply getting some problems because I am drawing it for the first time on a whiteboard. So these are the 4 cardinal directions. Practice these 2 maps. They are the easiest maps that can be made under 1 minute. In general studies you get maximum 1 or 1.5 minutes to draw a map, label it and finish it. That's it. Because in general studies, let's say GS1, you get 10 question of 10 marks and 15 question of 10 marks, total 150 marks, total 100 marks, total 250 marks. So how much time do you get? Let's see. For these 10 questions you get approximately 1 hour 15 minutes. For these 10 questions of 15 marks each, you get 1 hour 45 minutes. This is the time division in terms of 100 is to 150, that is 2 is to 3 in terms of 3 hours. How do you divide 3 hours in the ratio of 2 is to 3? 2 plus 3 becomes 5. So divide 3 hours by 5 and then multiply it by 2, then multiply it by 3. That gives you approximately this ratio. So if you are getting 1 hour 15 minutes, that is 60 plus 15, 75 minutes for all the 10 questions. For one question you are getting only 7.5 minutes. In this time you have to read the question, you have to understand, you have to know what the demand is, what I have to write, what maps I have to draw, then you have to write, then you have to draw the map, then you have to write the conclusion line, and that's when your first one answer is over. So the maximum you will get for one map is 1 to 1.5 minutes, no more than that. If you take more time in 10 marker, similarly for here, even though you are getting 60 plus 45 minutes, 105 minutes divided by 10 is 10.5 minutes per question. So 10.5 minutes per question doesn't mean you get more time for a map. the time stays the same. What you have to do is now finish 3 pages instead of 2. So instead of 7.5 minutes, you have 10 minutes. In actual, what happens in UPSC is when the paper comes in your hand, you don't get 3 hours, you get 2 hours 55 minutes. Why? Because for 5 minutes you have to fill a form, you have to fill an OMR sheet. In that OMR sheet you need to mention the number of your answer sheet. You have an answer sheet, UPSC has printed a number on it, you need to write that number in your present sheet, in your attendance sheet, which the invigilator has, which the invigilator keeps. You need to write the number. For example, if my answer sheet looks something like this, I'll write my roll number here. Here will be a UPSC number of this answer sheet. Then invigilator will bring an OMR, and then in that OMR I have to there are some boxes like this. Here is one candidate, here is one, then next, then next, then next, generally 6 are there. So if I am here, I need to mark P as present, then I have to write the number here, then I have to fill the OMR below it, in which 10 digits are shown from 0 to 9. So if let's say my number is, answer sheet number is 905067, so I'll mark OMR sheet, I'll fill 9 here, then in the next one 0 here, then 5 here, and so on. So do not practice this paper for 3 hours, you don't get 3 hours, you get 2 hours 55 minutes. So the best thing you can do practicing GS paper at home is practice them for 2 hours 50 minutes. Always remember this. Some students practice it for 3 hours, you don't get them, you don't get the time. Plus in the exam you may be nervous also. While writing at home you are relaxed, you are chill. So practicing it in less time, it will ensure that you actually finish the paper. Do not try to attempt it in 2 hours 45 minutes or something. You get more time than that in the exam. Plus if you start practicing it for 2 hours 45 minutes or even less, then you may miss out on improving the quality of your answers. Now coming back to NCERT, these are the 4 cardinal directions: north, east, west, south. Then there are 4 other directions also. These other 4 directions, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, are called intermediate directions. Now let's come on to the most important topic, latitudes and longitudes. What is latitude, what is longitude? This is the earth. Assume that this is the earth. Now I want to tell you that you have to go to Delhi. Here is India above equator. I will tell you what equator is. So here is India, here is Delhi. So I can tell you in many ways how to reach Delhi. First I will tell you go to Asia, then go to India, then go to Haryana, then go to Haryana UP boundary. On the Haryana UP boundary, the city with the maximum population is Delhi. You have reached Delhi. As you can see, this is complicated. For every city I'll have to define characteristics. I will have to know where it is located with respect to some other place, in which country the location is. And for islands it could be difficult. For example, how to go to a particular island in the Pacific Ocean, I don't know. How will I tell someone? The other method is you draw some imaginary lines on it. Where those 2 lines intersect, that is your location. How to do that? Now there are multiple ways. The earth, here is the equator. This line, let's assume, is the equator. So the earth, here is the sun. The earth revolves around the sun. It also rotates on its axis. The earth is actually tilted at an angle of 23.5 degree. So now how do we draw it? Here is the earth. Here is the earth. If it wouldn't have been tilted, it would be rotating this way, but it is tilted. So this would have been the axis, but this is the axis. This is the axis on which earth rotates. This is 23.5 degree angle. The same is here. How is this information helpful? This gives us seasons, this gives us variation, and this makes life on the earth very interesting. This is in detail. We will study how this affects our planet, how this changes the earth's variations. Now 23.5 angle is there. This is the axis. Earth is rotating this way, that is this way. Now this is north, this is east, this is west, this is south, the four cardinal directions. So earth rotates from west to east. So as shown here, here is the equator, north, east, west, south. Earth rotates from west to east, this way. So India is here, sun is, let's say, here. So when India is rotating, what will happen? Arunachal Pradesh will see the light first, Gujarat will see it the last. Arunachal Pradesh will go out of sun's vision, the first in India, and Gujarat will encounter night at the last. That's why Arunachal Pradesh sees sunlight the first in India. In the world, here is Japan. Japan is called the land of rising sun. Japan is called the land of the rising sun because when the earth is rotating, here is North America, South America, Asia, Europe, Africa, Australia, Antarctica, and Japan. If Asia is here, Japan is here. So if sun is here, it will keep on rotating, and we have made the convention that from this line onwards the day starts. This will become the international date line. We will see it now what it is. So Japan sees it the first. In truth, although the diagram looks like this, in reality, if you will see the map, you will find that Australia is somewhat here, directly below Japan, and it's actually Japan. Australia is a little further west, and Japan is hence the land of the rising sun. It sees the sun the first. The new day starts first in Japan. India comes later. North America comes the last. So we are ahead of America. America's Japan is ahead of the rest of the world. We will see it in detail how. So what is a latitude, what is a longitude, why do we need it? If you want to define any place on earth, you must have something like two lines where they cut. So if I have to tell you a location, I'll just say go to this line. I will give it a number. For example, let's say 0 degree east or 0 degree west, and then this line I'll say 0 degree north or 0 degree south. Where they cut it, you will find the location you want. Or I can say go here, anything I can do. Then I can say this is south, 10 degrees south, and this is east. So this is, let's say, 15 degree east. So where these two lines cut, you will find that location. Or where 15 degree east and 0 degree north cuts, there will you find a location. So how have we actually made the system? We have made latitudes and longitudes. What is a latitude? Latitudes are also called parallels. That's because they are parallel to each other. Here is the earth. Now the earth is tilted. Let's forget it for simplification. Let's say this is the axis of the earth and it is rotating. So this axis will cut earth at 2 points. We call them as north pole and south pole. Here is the earth. This is the equatorial plane. It cuts here and then exits from here. This point is north pole, this point is south pole. This is how we define the two poles. Now I can define a line which is perpendicular to it. Even though all these lines are perpendicular to it, the one with the greatest dimension or the greatest length, I call it equator. How does this help me? This is the equator here. Here is north pole, here is south pole. What is the relevance? Now I define parallels like this. Equator is a parallel. What is a latitude? Actually, a point on the earth, any point on the earth will subtend some angle at the center of the earth. The center of this earth is inside the football at the center. So at the center, what would this angle be with respect to equatorial plane? This is the equatorial plane. It cuts this way. So what angle does this point subtend? From this point you can find this point will subtend some angle at the center. This point will subtend the same angle, this point will subtend the same angle, this point will subtend the same angle. Even though here it looks like this angle is different, this angle is different, this angle is different, this angle is different. When we have to take the angle, we take the smaller one. So if this is the line, it is actually making two angles, this one and this one. We always take this angle. If we take this angle, we can always calculate this angle because sum is 180 degree. So if this is 60 degree, this must be 120 degree. So we always take the lesser of the two angles. How do they subtend the same angle? This is the equatorial plane, this is the point, this is the point, this is the point, this is the point, and this is the point. As you can see, in two dimension it looks like they subtend different angles, but actually these points subtend the same angle at the center. Same angle at the center. Here, here and here. Just connect this point in your mind to the center of the earth, to the center of this football. Inside it, you will see that all these points subtend the same angle. This measure of the angle becomes the latitudinal measure. So I can call this, if the angle is, let's say, 30 degree, I call this as 30 degree north. And similarly this could be 30 degrees south, then 60 degrees south. The south pole becomes 90 degrees south, the north pole becomes 90 degree north. The equator is 0 degree, you can call it north or you can call it 0 degree south, because 0 degree means you are here, you are neither going to the north, you are neither going to the south. So you can simply refer to as 0 degree north or 0 degree south, or simply 0 degree latitude. How is north pole 90 degree? This is the equator, north pole, south pole, axis of the earth is this. At the center, what is the angle subtended at the equatorial plane? The equatorial plane is this way. So equatorial plane is this way, and the axis goes something like this. It actually cuts here, and here there is nothing. And then it emerges here. This is how equatorial plane cuts it. So what is the angle made by this line with respect to equatorial plane? 90 degree. This is the line. This is any line you can draw on the equatorial plane. All these lines are on this plane. This line, this line, this line, this line. What angle do they make with this line? With this line, any line here, 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 here makes 90 degree angle. So north pole is 90 degree north, it is 90 degree south. So what is a latitude? These are the latitudinal measures of a point. What is a latitude? A latitude is an imaginary line. Obviously on earth there is no line per se. There is only rotation, there is only an axis. You can define the axis, you can define north pole and south pole where the axis cuts, but that's it. earth doesn't give you any other line, neither imaginary. Imaginary you can imagine as many, there is no real line on the equator, there is actually no line on the earth per se. So all these are imaginary lines. This point subtends the same angle, this point subtends the same angle, this point, this point, this point, this point, all subtend 30 degree. I told you how in 2 dimension it may look like they don't, but in 3 dimensions they do. So similar is the angle at the back. So what is a latitude? A latitude is a line. This is a line. Actually this is on a sphere, so it is a circle. So a latitude is actually a circle, or you can say a line which joins all the points which subtend the same angle at the center of the earth, north or south of the equator. What does that mean? On this earth, this point subtends 30 degree, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one at the back, then this. So at the center they all subtend 30 degree, and that too north of the equatorial plane, all these points. So if I join all of them with a line, I will get a parallel or a latitude. Why are they called parallel? If you draw it at 60 degree, it will come here. So all these lines will be parallel to each other. Equatorial, they will be parallel to each other as well as to the equatorial plane, because equatorial plane is simply 0 degree latitude, hence they all become parallels. Now let's say parallels were enough to find a location on the earth. Then how would I tell you the location on the earth? I will say that please go to 30 degree north, and wherever you will reach, you would have reached Delhi. Let's say the location of Delhi is 30 degree north. So you start here, India is here, you go 30 degree north. In India you find Delhi. Fine, you have found Delhi. But what if you started from here? You would have reached somewhere in Central Asia. If you started from here, you would have reached maybe Mediterranean Sea or Africa. So obviously only the latitude isn't enough. I need something else too. What is that? In order for me to actually and definitively find a point on the earth, I need a second line. Parallels are something like this. Latitude, this is 0 degree, this is 30 degree, this is 60 degree, 90 degree becomes one point. How does 90 degree become a point? 30 degrees here, 60 degrees here. At 90 degree the circle collapses onto a point, and North Pole is the result. Now how can I definitely find a location on the earth? If I have defined it this way, I need to define something this way. So let's say from 90 degree to 90 degree south, I define something like this. Let's say here is the equator, 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree is 1 point, 30 degree, 60 degree south, 90 degree south is 1 point. So now I have defined it this way, but using 30 degree north you can reach a lot of places. You may also reach Delhi, but you may not, and most probably you will not. So from North Pole to South Pole, let's join this way. Now all of the earth is joined. Now if I tell you that go 30 degree north, you will say okay, on this latitude I am finding a lot of locations. Now I tell you that use this line, and where it intersects, that's your location. Here is the parallel, here is North Pole to South Pole joining, circle again. It cuts at 2 points, here and here. The parallel is here, the line is here, so it cuts here and here. So again you cannot reach definite place, you must reach only one place. In this case, on 30 degree north, if this is the line, you are actually reaching two places. What are those two places? In the front you are reaching here, at the back you are reaching here. This is because at the back this line looks something like this. and so does this one and this one. This is at the front, this is the line at the front, this is the vertical line at the back. So the line at the back and the parallel at the back intersect here, the line at the front and the parallel at the front intersect here. Here is the 30-degree parallel at the front, here is the parallel at the back. Here is the line joining North Pole and South Pole at the front, here is the line joining at the back. At the back they intersect here, in the front they intersect here, that is here and here. So again you cannot reach two places. If Delhi lies on this, you may reach Delhi, but you also may reach some point other than Delhi on the other side of the earth. So this is again problematic. Now this tells me that I cannot define it this way. But if I eliminate one of the line, if I eliminate this line, I will definitely always reach Delhi. I will tell you, go to 30-degree north, then go to this half line which is not joined on the other side, and then you will always reach here in Delhi. That's longitude. So now it may be clear to you why latitude goes around the earth on the surface. It is a full circle, but longitude is always a semicircle, only half of a circle. So that when latitudes and longitudes they intersect, they always intersect at one place. And if I tell you that go to 30-degree north and then maybe 60-degree east, you will reach Delhi. So what is this 60-degree east, etc.? We will tell you, I will tell you later. This is latitude. If after some any angle it is written north or it is written south or so on and so on, only north or south, then that means latitude. If it is a longitude, something like this is written east and west and so on. Latitudes only go till 90 degree. You can go from here till 90 degree. If you want to go to 91 degree, you can't. At 90 degree, earth ends. Longitudes are defined from 0 degree to 180 degree. We will see later in other videos how. 0 degree to 180 degree east, 0 degree to 180 degree west. How are these defined? Let's forget this for a second. How are these longitudes defined? When I was defining a latitude, earth was rotating, there was an axis, so that axis gave me North Pole and South Pole when at the locations where the axis hit the earth. Now using these 2 points I can get the equator. The equator is the plane which is farthest from the 2 points. From the North Pole, this is a plane, this is a plane, this is the plane. This is the largest circle you can get on the earth in the middle of North Pole and South Pole. So because of the axis of the earth, I got these points, these 2 points and this plane or this circle, the equator. Here using the axis of the earth, I cannot get any line because this line is on the surface of the earth, but the axis passes through the center of the sphere. So I need to define something like this from North Pole to South Pole, where it will hit the parallel, the latitude, and I will get the location, but the axis only goes this way from North Pole to South Pole. In the middle of this football, inside it at the center, from the center it goes vertically. So now I cannot define anything from here to here. All I get are 2 points, North Pole and South Pole. So what do? I take a location known as Greenwich near London. It is approximately 10-15 kilometers from London. It's a suburban town of London. Just like in Delhi, there are a lot of suburban towns like Noida and Gurgaon, Gurugram. This is a suburb of London. Suburb means suburban, not urban, but below it, close to it. So in Greenwich in London, this is the North America, this is South America, this is Asia, this is India, Africa, Australia and Antarctica. So now here is UK. In UK there is London, close to it is Greenwich. So I define from North Pole to South Pole a line on the surface of the earth. It is again completely imaginary. I define this line passing through Greenwich in London as prime meridian. That is prime meridian. How does this help? Meridian means the time when the sun is vertically overhead, that is 12 noon. So I take this time on this point. If you aren't able to understand, don't worry, we will do it in detail later. I define this time as Greenwich Mean Time, or this is world time. The whole world is defined with respect to time here. So 12 o'clock strikes in the day when the sun is vertically here. What does that mean? Here is North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia. So now here is the sun. The earth is rotating, 1 day completed, 2 day completed. So obviously there will come a time when close to here is Europe, here is Asia. When close to Europe there is UK, there is London, there is Greenwich. The earth will be here and closest to the sun. That will be 12 noon. I define this as 12 noon. What else? Once I have defined this line, this I call it as prime meridian. My work is done. I have defined the prime meridian. I needed a single line, a semicircle. This is from North Pole to South Pole. This is a semicircle. This would have been a full circle, but a full circle would cut the latitude at 2 points and I cannot get a definite location. If I want a definite location, it has to be only a semicircle. Parallel was the full circle. Alternatively, I could have defined it this way, that this is the full circle and parallels became half circle, but I haven't. I will tell you later why. I can define it this way. I define the parallels as half lines. So this is different from this, and from North Pole to South Pole I could have defined full circles. Obviously again I could get only one point. Where would this full circle intersect this line? This one is the location at the back of the parallel. So this half line will intersect here only. This is half line, but I haven't defined it this way. I have defined it this way. This is convention. If I would have defined it this way, there would have been some problems. What are those problems? We will discuss later. In this case, it is easy to define the equator as one line, 0 degree north, 0 degree or 0 degree south. In this case, the equator would have been this line at this line here. If I define it as half line and then half line here, so if I have to tell about the equator, then I would say this line and the one at the back, because I am defining half lines. So if for defining only one line, I would have needed to say two things. You go to 0 degree and then 180 degree. When these two are joined, you get the equator. Now I have defined it such a way that when I say 0 degree north or 0 degree south, you understand I am talking about the equator. It gives a lot of ease. In this case, In this case also you always need one full circle and one semicircle, they will always cut at one point. So in this case the full circles have been defined this way instead of this way. Full circles have been defined this way and half circles have been defined this way. So obviously all of them will cut at only one point. I will get a definite location, but it is difficult to understand. We will see that it is much easier. Now, once I have defined the prime meridian, I can define as many lines as I want. Here is a line, here is a line, here is a line. Since you are moving to the east of this line, this will be 30 degree east, this will be 60 degree east, this will be 90 degree east, and this will go till 180 degree. Latitude goes only till 90 degree and 90 degree north and south. Again I can draw some lines here, here, here. This is west direction, so this may be 30 degree west, 60 degree west, 90 degree west, and I will also get a line 180 degree west. Here is the equatorial plane, north pole, south pole. Ignore the tilt for ease of understanding. Here is prime meridian. It passes through Greenwich near London. So now here 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree, 120 degree, 160 degree and 180 degree. 180 degree is the line opposite to this 0 degree. This is because full circle, full sphere is 360 degree. After 360 degree you always reach the point where you started. This is the convention. Now here you reached 180 degree. From here you reach 180 degree east. From prime meridian you can reach 180 degree west. These two lines will be actually one line at the back of the prime meridian. So how are they two one line? Let's see. I told you this is the map of the earth. Map is a two-dimensional representation. So here is prime meridian. From north pole to south pole, this is 0 degree east or 0 degree west. 0 degree north or 0 degree south is the equator somewhere here. So now I define it as this way: 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree, 120 degree, 160 degree, and this line, this one, this actually becomes my 180 degree east. I am moving towards the east. This direction is east, north, east, west, south. So from here I can also define this way: 30 degree. Now this is 30 degree west, this one. Then similarly here, so 180 degree west becomes here. And since this is a map, a two-dimensional representation, this actually joins at the back. So this line and this line actually are single lines. How? This is Europe, this is UK, here is Greenwich. When you go from here to 180 degree and you go from here to 180 degree, you get a single line. Now why did I define it from Greenwich only? I could have defined it from anywhere. I could have defined it from Delhi. I could have defined it from any other place also. This 180 degree line, I can draw the world map again this way. Here is Greenwich, London, UK. Here is 0 degree. From north pole to south pole, 0 degree east or 0 degree west. I have to write east or west because if I say only 0 degree, you won't understand whether I am talking about the equator, 0 degree north or south, or 0 degree east or west. The moment I specify I am talking about 0 degree north, it should be understood that I am talking about a parallel, I am talking about a full circle, and I am talking about the equator. This is the same as this one. Similarly, if I am saying 30 degree north, then I am saying immediately north means you are going to the north. In case of prime meridian, this is the meridian, so you cannot go north or south, you can only go east or west of this line. In case of equatorial plane, you can only go east or west of this line. All other, you cannot go east or west, you can go only north or south. If you go east or west, you are staying on the equator itself, so you are always at 0 degree north. You aren't moving with respect to latitude. This is because this is the equatorial plane, you can only go north or south. If you go from here to here, you are still on the equatorial plane, you are still at 0 degree north. Similarly, if this is prime meridian, and on the prime meridian if you go north or south, you are staying on the prime meridian, so you are always at 0 degree east or 0 degree west. You are never moving. On the only movement you can do is here or here, so east or west. At 180 degree east and 180 degree west, you will reach the same meridian. So if you say I am on 0 degree west or 0 degree south, this is the same meridian, the prime meridian. At 180 degree, opposite to it, what would lie? Opposite to it would lie the Pacific Ocean. This is the Pacific Ocean. How? This is the equator. Prime meridian passes through here, so this must be UK, this must be Asia, Europe, then Asia, then Africa, then North America, then South America. Australia is here, so when you rotate it, what do you get? North America, South America, Asia, Australia. Between them, North America, South America, Asia, Australia, between them is the Pacific Ocean. This line opposite to 0 degree east or 0 degree west is 180 degree east or 180 degree west. 180 degree east and 180 degree west means the same thing. This line becomes the International Date Line, IDL. For now, just understand, just try to remember this. We will do it in great detail, how it all happens, how do days change, etc, etc. So now International Date Line is here. What does that mean? On this side there would be a different date, so it will be it could be 1st of June, let's say 1st of June. Here it could be 30, it could be 2nd of June, and so on. Today is I think 1st of June, so it will be actually 1st of June here and 31st of July here. Tomorrow it will be 1st of June here, 2nd of June here. We will see in detail how. For now, just remember that this is the International Date Line. Why did we choose Greenwich? This is the question we are answering. So we chose Greenwich first because an observatory is located here from which you observe the earth and the space. The second reason is International Date Line. On this line the date changes, it passes through the Pacific Ocean. You could have passed it from anywhere, so let's pass it from somewhere. Let's pass it from North America, South America, Australia, Europe, Asia, Africa and Antarctica. So instead of passing the date line from here, let's pass it from India and China. Here is India, here is China. When you pass it from India to China, since this is the International Date Line, for a person in India located east or west of this line, dates are different. So let's say this is the line in India. I am standing in India right now. When I cross here, the date changes for me. When I come back here, the date changes for me. So all the people living there would observe one date, and all the people living here would observe one date. what would that do? That would make a lot of confusion. If I tell my friend, meet me on Wednesday, if I am located here and my friend is located here, so Wednesday is different for me and different from him. He will come on some other day and then he will say you didn't come. I will say that I came but you didn't come. Similarly, if I try to book a airline ticket from here to here, it may happen that the airport website will say your flight will depart on Wednesday and reach on Tuesday. So I will be confused. What does that mean? I am boarding on Wednesday but reaching on Tuesday. How is that possible? So if the line cuts from a location where there is a lot of population, there will be huge confusion. Websites cannot function. I wouldn't know what time is being referred to. On this side of the line it changes, on this side it stays the same. So the international date line where the time changes, it must pass through a location which is sparsely populated. Minimal number of people should live here, so that all of North America, all of South America can have one date, all of Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia can have one date, and so on. Antarctica has not many people, approximately 8 to 10 people permanently live here in the research station, so Antarctica doesn't matter. In this case, all of it can observe single date. So if a person in North America tells his friend to meet him at some place, they can meet easily. Why only Pacific Ocean? Why not other oceans? I could have defined it. I have defined it this way. This is the international date line from in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I can define it in multiple ways. I could define it here and then the opposite line could become prime meridian. I could define it here and then the opposite line could become prime meridian. Why only this line? Only this line was made because when you draw the earth, the map of the earth, and you try to cut it at multiple points, you can cut it here, here. You can first choose the international date line and then opposite to it you can define the prime meridian. So if I try to cut as many lines as I can around the earth such that I want the line on which minimum people live, generally it is the line which passes through the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean. It has very small number of islands and lot of people don't live on those islands. Some of the islands are completely uninhabited. So least number of people get this confusion. That's why international date line must pass here, and that's why on the opposite side of it, in Pacific Ocean also I could have gotten multiple locations. In Pacific Ocean there could be very close, hundreds of lines possible. Why did I choose only that particular line? Because on the opposite of it passes through Greenwich Observatory. This observatory can keep the world time secure. It can measure the time, it can make corrections, and this maintains Greenwich Mean Time or world time, and hence because of these two reasons combined I define the longitudes such that I define one prime meridian passing through Greenwich, the other side becomes the international date line, and all of my world is the least confused. I could have defined multiple lines. The opposite one of from which Greenwich passes, that way I have defined as Greenwich 180 degree east or west international date line. So to pass it from the observatory, to pass the prime meridian from the observatory, and to pass the international date line from an area where minimum people live, I define it as prime meridian. We will discuss in detail what is this 180 degree east west, how are these angles defined, and so on. Maybe in the tomorrow's class. Today it is the beginning of geography, the second class only, so I don't want to confuse you a lot. We will do this in detail later. Let's start what the NCERT says. The equator represents the 0 degree latitude. You must mention after 0 degree whether it is north or south or whether it is latitude. So if I say 0 degree latitude, it means equator. If I say 0 degree north, it means equator. If I say 0 degree south, it means equator. Similarly, if I say 0 degree longitude, it means prime meridian passing through Greenwich. If I say 0 degree east, again prime meridian, semicircle passing through Greenwich. These are full circles. This is a semicircle, because if you draw on the earth full circles and semicircles, in whatever way they will always cut at one point. So you always require one full circle and a one semicircle to cut at one point. We defined it in such a way that full circles lie here, 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 except the north pole and south pole where that circle becomes a point. And in case of prime meridian, the prime meridians are always of equal length on the surface of the earth. In case of this circle, equator is the largest. It keeps on decreasing in both directions until the circle assumes 0 radius. A circle of 0 radius becomes a point. This is a circle, this is the radius. If I keep decreasing the radius, when it becomes 0, I will get a point. So the latitudes aren't of equal dimension. 30 degree, the length of 30 degree north will be equal to 30 degree south. How? This is the equator. This is 30 degree north, this is 30 degree south. So this is the dimension and this is the dimension. They will be equal. 15 degree north, 15 degree south will be equal. 89 degree north, 89 degree south will be equal. 90 degree north and 90 degree south are one point, and those points are also technically speaking equal. In case of two different longitudes, 30 degree north and 31 degree north, let's say. So here is equator, 30 degree north and 31 degree north. So 30 degree north will be larger, 31 degree north will be smaller, 60 degree north will be even smaller, 80 degree north will be even smaller, 90 degree would become a point. So the latitudes are of different dimensions, but if the measure is the same, 30 degree and 30 degree, 30 degree north, 30 degree south, 60 degree north, 60 degree south, they are same. In case of longitudes, they are all of equal length. Here is the equator, there is north pole, south pole, this is the prime meridian, this is the prime meridian, this is the prime meridian, this is the these are the other meridians. On the opposite side of prime meridian is the international date line. They are all of same length. Now second thing, the distance between two longitudes. The distance between two longitudes is almost the same all over the earth. The distance between two latitudes is the same all over the earth. The distance between two longitudes vary a lot from 0 to maximum. How? Here is 0 degree, then there is 1 degree north, this is 0 degree north or south. Similarly 2 degree and so on. On the earth they look something like this: 0 degree, 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree, 5 degree and 90 degree. So the distance between two latitudes stays the same almost. 1 degree, 2 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree gap, 3 degree, 4 degree gap, 4 degree, 5 degree, till 80 degree, 80 degree, 81 degree, 81 degree, 82 degree. This is almost the same. So distance between two latitudes stays the same all over the earth. In case of longitude, this is a longitude, prime meridian, this is 1 degree. So they all start from one point. So this is the prime meridian and this is 1 degree east. This is 0 degree east. The moment I say 0 degree east, what should come to your mind is I am talking about the prime meridian. If I say 0 degree west or 0 degree longitude, again prime meridian. If I say 180 degree west, international date line. If I say 180 degree east, international date line. If I say 180 degree longitude, it must be the international date line. If I simply say 180 degree, even then you can understand that I must be talking about longitudes, because latitudes exist only from 90 degree north to 90 degree south. There is no such thing as 180 degree north or 180 degree south. So from 91 degree onwards, you can always understand that I am only talking about longitude. This latitude is not possible. So now, what is the distance between them? At the North Pole, they meet together. So distance is 0. They are originating from here. Then when these 0 degree and 1 degree go, the distance between them becomes maximum at the equator. Then they again starts coming together, and at the South Pole the distance again becomes 0. So at the equator the distance is the maximum. At North Pole and South Pole, between any two longitudes, distance is 0, because here all longitudes meet each other. These latitudes are parallel to each other. Since parallel lines never meet, they are said to meet at infinity. Since parallel lines never meet, so this distance will always be there and it will be almost the same. Since Earth is spherical, this distance will be same, this distance will be same, and so on. In case of longitude, since these are semicircles and all originating from one point and terminating at one point, distance at where they terminate or where they begin or terminate will be 0. They will be maximum at the equator. So this is what you need to know. We will see this in great detail later. It's all in the syllabus. Now, heat zones of the Earth. How is Earth different in terms of temperature everywhere? Here is the Earth, here is the Sun. So when Sun's light is coming, this point is the closest. The light has to travel very less. This point is far, this point is the farthest. If a person is located here, if a person is located here, if a person is located here, here the sunlight will hit directly and will heat up a lot. Here it will reach a little tilted. Here it will barely reach the person. How? Here is the equator. Here is, let's say, the sun. The light starts flowing this way. The sun radiates light in all directions, everywhere in 3 dimensions. Here it looks like it is only radiating here. Actually, sun is in 3 dimensions, it radiates everywhere. So some of the light reaches the earth. How will it reach? It will travel some distance, and here it will have to reach, it will hit the most. Here it will have to travel a lot of distance. Here at the North Pole, it will barely be reaching, it will barely be visible. So this area becomes the torrid zone. This area becomes temperate zone, and this area becomes frigid zone. Torrid means hot, temperate means medium, frigid means cold, like the term fridge, refrigerator in our homes. So how are these lines defined. Remember, the earth was tilted at 23.5 degree. So we have defined some angles, some latitudes because of this tilt. They only exist because of this tilt. How? Here is 23.5, there is the earth. This is the axis which would have been if the axis was vertical. The earth is actually tilted here. Let's forget it for a second. So this is 0 degree, this is north, this is equator. Then take 23.5 degree here and move 23.5 degree here. So you will get 23.5 degree north. Here you will move 23.5 degree south. Similarly, from 90 degree south, move 23.5 degree this way. So what will be the measure of the latitude at this point on this line? Similarly, from 90 degree north, move 23.5 degree here. So what will be the measure here and here? In here, what is happening is, here is the earth, 23.5 degree tilted. Let's assume it's not tilted. So here is 90 degree north pole. If I move 23.5 degree here, what would be the measure of the latitude at this point? The definition of a latitude is the angle it subtends at the equatorial plane at the center of the earth. So what angle would a point from 90 degree? Multiple points can be there at an angle of 23.5 degree away. They will all form a line, they will all form a parallel, they will all form a latitude. They will all subtend the same angle at the center with respect to the equatorial plane. This subtends 90 degree. You are coming 23.5 degree towards the equator. So from the equator, the angle subtended would be 90 minus 23.5 degree, 66.5 degree north. Since you are north of the equator, this will be 66.5 degree south, since you are south of the equator. How are these lines defined? All of these four lines have been defined because of one and only one reason, 23.5 degree tilt. Here is 23.5 degree, here is 23.5, here is 23.5, here is 23 degree and half. If earth wouldn't have been tilted, we would simply have three things: 0 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree, the axis and the equator. Since it is tilted, for now just remember that we have defined these four lines. All these four lines originate because of simple one thing, 23.5 degree tilt. What are the names of these lines? This is the Arctic Circle. This is the Antarctic Circle. This is the Tropic of Cancer. This is the Tropic of Capricorn. Why these lines have been defined? What is the relevance? Why 23.5 degree was subtracted? Why it is called these? This will come later. For now, understand that Arctic means two things: north and bear. Antarctic means Antarctic. An means opposite. So opposite of north, opposite of bear. So it is in north, so Arctic Circle or Northern Circle. It is called Bear because a constellation known as Great Bear is visible from here, all around the year. From here it is never visible. So opposite of Great Bear, that is not being visible. Opposite of north means it is in the south. What is Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn? The word tropic means turn, mudna, to change direction, to reverse direction. Cancer means Cancer and Capricorn mean they are defined when they were defined first, maybe 1000-2000 years ago. When Tropic of Cancer was defined, when this line was defined, Sun was in the constellation named Cancer. So in this way this line becomes Tropic of Cancer. Tropic means turn, Cancer means Sun was in Cancer constellation when this line was defined, maybe 1000-2000 years ago. So as you can see, 1000-2000 years ago we had the knowledge that something was amiss, something was happening because of 23.5 degree. Similarly, later, some years later, or maybe hundreds of years later, same line would have been defined south. It took a lot of time to define this line later because most of the people live in the northern hemisphere from equator. This is the northern hemisphere from equator. This is the southern hemisphere. Very less people live here. How? This is the earth. So equator goes something like this. So North America, US, Canada, some part of South America, half of Africa, Europe, India, China, Japan, Southeast Asia, they are above equator. What is below equator? Some part of South America, half of Africa and Australia. Antarctica doesn't have people. So most of the people live above. So this discovery was made earlier. At that time Sun was in Cancer constellation. This was made later. At that time Sun was in Capricorn constellation. What is the meaning of turn here? The Sun seems to come here and then go back and then come back and then go back and then come back and so on. This becomes the meaning of the term turn. From here the Sun seems to take a turn. If a person is located here, that person will see that the Sun reached me but then went away. A person sitting on the equator will see that the Sun came to me, then went in the other direction, then it came back from that direction and went above, then went again south and so on. The person located here would see the Sun came to me, just touched me and went southwards. Again. What would this person see? The Sun came to me from the north but again went north. It didn't go any south. This is referred to as apparent movement of the Sun. Apparent means false, nakli, jhuthi, not true. The Sun is not moving, the earth is moving around the Sun. Here is the earth, here is the equator, here is the Sun. The earth is revolving, the earth is also rotating on its own axis. So Sun never moves, Sun is stationary, the earth moves only. But because we are sitting on the earth, for me earth is stationary. For example, right now I am on earth. For me earth is stationary. It doesn't seem like anything is moving. Even though it is rotating very fast, it is revolving around the Sun in a very big circle, but for me it is stationary. So because of this 23.5 degree, it seems as if the Sun is moving. Actually the earth is moving, it is rotating and revolving. This movement of the Sun is a result of revolution, not of rotation. We will see this in great detail how. So now torrid zone is between the two tropics. It is also the tropical zone between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, torrid zone. From Tropic of Cancer to Arctic Circle, 23.5 degree north to 66.5 degree north, and from Tropic of Capricorn to Antarctic Circle, 23.5 degrees south to 66.5 degrees south. This is the temperate zone or the medium level zone where weather is conducive to human actions, human activities. Here is 66.5 degree north to 90 degree north, that is Arctic Circle to North Pole. From Antarctic Circle to South Pole, 66.5 degree south to 90 degree south, here is frigid zone or the frozen zone, where temperature is very less and minimal number of humans live here. This will come in great detail, how 23.5 degree how all this happens, why tropics have been defined because of 23.5 degree, why Arctic Circle is defined, why Antarctic Circle is defined, and so on in next classes. This is in our syllabus in great detail. For today friends, I think we will stop here, because these are simply introductory classes and I don't want you to overwhelm you with a lot of facts. For now, just understand that Earth is tilted for most of the things. We ignore the tilt for ease of understanding. To get any location on the Earth, we need one full circle and one half circle. If we get two full circles, they intersect at two different points. We cannot get a definite location. If we need a definite location, we must have one full circle and one half circle. The full circles become latitudes, the half circles become, the semicircles become longitudes, and hence we are easily able to define the location anywhere on Earth. We just say that go to 30 degree north and 60 degree east. At one place they will intersect. That is the location I want you to go to. Second reason, for we could have defined longitudes from any place. We define 0 degree longitude as prime meridian passing through Greenwich, because it has an observatory which can keep the world time, it can make any corrections, and the opposite side of it, a lot of observatories would have been located on the Earth. Opposite of Greenwich is the line on which minimal people live. It is the international date line where the date changes, and hence we can easily minimize the confusion regarding the date. All of North America, all of South America can have one date, all of Asia can have one, and so on. Nations are sovereign, and hence they can take any decision. Sovereign means there is no authority above them. No other nation can tell them anything to do, anything to be done. In reality, no nation is really sovereign. India was told by IMF in 1991 to make changes to its economy. Similarly, United Nations and IMF, World Bank, US and China and Russia have pressurized a lot of countries in the past. But as far as theory is concerned, nations are sovereign, so they can take any decision. So we have defined the longitudes in such a manner that everywhere where you keep whatever time, you keep it in such a way that at 12 noon the whole world can say that yes, at 12 o'clock at noon the sun is overhead me or almost overhead me. For example, right now the time is 3:30. So what is happening? Here is the earth, here is the sun. The earth is rotating north, east, west, south, from west to east, this way. So this location comes under the sun, then this location comes, then this one, and so on. It is also revolving. This is rotation. So as far as day and night is concerned, here is the rotation. So now at every location we define it in such a way that at 12 o'clock noon everyone can say that okay, yes, sun is overhead me, I am feeling a lot of heat and light. There could have been multiple ways to define time. For example, we can define only one time as that time at that instant all over the earth. For example, right now in India time is 3:30 p.m. date is I think 31st May 2021. So if the whole world starts following this time, at this instant every clock in the world is changed and this becomes the time, wouldn't it become very easy? Everyone has this date, everyone has this time. It's very easy now. If a person in America, for a person in America also, right now time is 3:30 p.m. But what is happening in America at present? India is here, we are seeing sunlight. In America they will be just having sunlight because they are behind us. India is here, sun is here. So at 12 o'clock India is closest to the sun. After 3 hours 30 minutes India has moved a little, so we are still seeing sunlight and heat but not a lot. So North America and South America are here to the west of India. So North America and South America are just seeing first sunlight. So they will say that in North America and South America sunrise happens at 3:30 p.m. because all the world is following this time. And that is why the whole of the world does not follow this time. Firstly, if you want this world or the whole world to follow this time, you need to convince them or force them to use this time. Why would they use India time? US will say make US time as the world constant. Then China will say no, why should I change my clocks? Rest of the world should change their clocks according to me. So use China time to make the whole world follow, and rest of the world can change their clocks. India can change, China can change. So one problem is this: nations are sovereign, they can take their own decision. If even one nation doesn't agree, this scheme may fail, or that nation may keep on following that time, all others can join this one. So for the rest of the world it will be easy now. Everyone has the same time. You book a ticket, an airline ticket from America at 3:30 p.m. If you land, if it says the flight lands at 8:30 p.m., it is the same time as in US, as in India. So there is no difference. It's very easy to follow. It's much more easy to understand also. But first problem is this. The second one is what I told you. What would Americans say? That we get sunrise at 3:30 p.m. and some other location in the Pacific Ocean, some island country may say that at 3:30 p.m. we are in the middle of the night, we are generally sleeping. So in order to correct this anomaly, wherein one nation may say that sunrise happens in India it happens at 6 a.m. So if all the world is following India time, India will say at 6 a.m. sunrise happens, but American will say at 6 p.m. sunrise happens, and so on. For everyone, time of sunrise will be different, time of noon will be different, and so on. So in order to correct this anomaly, all the countries have different time zones. We will see how they are divided, and the primary criterion is that when the sun is overhead any country or any part of a country, that country or that part of a country should be as close to 12 o'clock as possible. 12 o'clock of noon. The day begins at 12 a.m. and continues till 11:59 p.m. The day isn't from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. No, that is more than 24 hours. This is 24 hours, or more accurately from 12 hours 00 minutes 00 seconds a.m. in the middle of night to 11 hours 59 minutes 59 seconds p.m. on the other day in the middle of the night. This is the duration of one day. We will see prime meridian in detail, how time zones are divided, what is this 12 noon, what is this tropics, Arctic, why does 23.5 give 4 different latitudes, what is so particular about them, what is this apparent movement of the sun, in later classes. For now, that's it. Thank you.